For many French lovers, moving to Paris and making a life here is a dream. Well, Jane Bertch took that dream and ran with it, creating the go-to cooking school in Paris now called Cuisine Paris. She's also the author of a book all about the intense process it took to make that happen. It's called The French Ingredient, and it just came out in paperback. Jane, welcome. It's such a pleasure to have you on the show. Always nice to have another Chicagoan. Makes me feel like I'm tapping back up. Let's reel back to the beginning of your adventure. How did you first come to Paris?
Sure. I came to Paris because I worked in a bank for many years, had a wonderful, wonderful career in that bank, and that's what brought me here. And after a few years, several life situations, decided it was time to try something different.
Right, and you tried something radically different, deciding to create a cooking school when you weren't even a professional chef.
Exactly. And you know, my only answer to that is that sometimes you get if you allow yourself to dream, you sometimes get these little hints of what might be next for you. And the idea of a cooking school came out, and I just followed it up, and here we are.
Right, but getting from an idea, lots of people have ideas, to actually making it happen, where you have thousands of students every year, like you do with La Cuisine Paris, is difficult.
Yes.
How did you get from point A to point Z?
Wow. And I will say I still haven't reached Z. I'm still on this very long journey. You know, like any idea, you have it and then you start to really deconstruct it and think, well, what does this mean? You need a location. You need a website. I'm not a chef. I don't pretend to be. That's not what I bring. So to recruit a chef team. And all of those things slowly fell into place. Lots of knocks along the way, like with any business, any entrepreneurial affair. But croise les doigts, cross our fingers. We've been so lucky.
All right, let's talk about some of those knocks, because if anyone out there has dealt with French administration, you know what a nightmare, what a headache it can be.
Right.
I mean, what were some of the biggest hurdles?
Okay, the biggest hurdle was the first year of business. We realized we were not in a location sufficient for our type of activity, and we are considered a nuisance. We're a nuisance officially because we create odors. And the accommodation that we were in was not appropriate. So 9 months into the business, had to make a tough decision to leave. Those tough things ended up being the best thing that happened. We now have a great location. And then, of course, all the things we've all faced here in France. We've had train strikes. We've had a shortage of mustard, which is very important in French cuisine.
When you run a cooking school.
Exactly. Butter shortages. And then, of course, COVID. So, you know, every year there's something. Every year there's something.
And yet it seems like you're doing okay. I mean, you've got several chefs. You have thousands of students, as I was saying before. I mean, looking back now, why do you think you were able to achieve success where so many others perhaps failed?
Wow. And success is so relative. For me, that clock starts every morning. We're only as good as the last class we offer. And I think what has worked up to this point is listening to our clients. We believe very much in community. I believe very much in a diverse team where people bring different things to the show. Our chefs are extraordinary, and they host the classes, and I help to think about the container. So I think it's just been a variety of listening and trying and being okay to fail and get up and try something else. A failure is just more information for you.
And it's funny because I think the very first time you came to France, way before you were a banker, didn't you say you would never come back again?
Yes, I have been quoted as such. You know, when you're young and you have red hair and you're trying to fit in, you stand out very easily. And being a teenager, that's all I wanted to do.
So what happened?
At a restaurant, trying to speak French. And I remember it vividly, and I talk about it in the book. The waiter looked at me like I smelled. He had this look of...
Because just to fill everyone in, there is a reputation in France that redheads smell. It's one of these strange cliches.
Oh, God.
Did you not know that?
No, I just thought my language was so horrible.
Oh, no. It's a cliche.
There we are. Well, and
I can tell you she smells absolutely lovely.
Well, okay, I will take that away. But, you know, France can sometimes make you feel like a visitor. And I was trying to fit in, and I did not. And I took such personal offense to it instead of now realizing that not fitting in is my secret weapon.
So. In what way? Just because?
Well, you know as well as I do, there's so many cultural codes. There's so many ways that you have to operate. And I know what they are, but I also know sometimes I can move outside of them because I'm not from here. Like, instead of waiting for somebody to present me so I get a formal invitation to meet somebody, I'm okay to like push the door open myself. So I get away with some things once in a while.
Which is great. And tell me a bit more about the book. What made you, after I imagine it takes a lot of time and energy to run a business, what made you want to then move on to publish a book?
You know what? That again, another wonderful thing that came out of a miracle. It was during COVID. We were in a really difficult time at the vortex of tourism and food, things that were very troubled. And I thought, during any difficult time, the best thing is just sit down and remind yourself that you have been through those times. And I started to craft it together in a story. And, the dots connected, and I met a wonderful agent that picked it up, and then a wonderful publisher, and that was it. It was not intentional, actually.
And more Americans, obviously, given the current political climate, are talking about moving to France, have this dream again of coming to France. What advice or what tips might you give to people who are seriously considering this move?
Absolutely. And it's a wonderful move to make. And it's all the more comfortable if you understand two things, in my humble opinion. The respect for time. That means personal time. That means appreciating the time you spend out of the office as much as in the office. It also means the time to make relationships. Nothing comes overnight here. And I think if you understand the complexities of time and developing relationships and you're willing to put in the effort, you'll have a magical experience in France.
And Jane, just to wrap up, if you were in your shoes when you started the company, in 2009?
Yes.
What advice would you give to yourself then that perhaps or something you know now?
I guess the same thing I would tell myself 20 years from now. Try to approach everything with childlike curiosity. It's not imposter syndrome. It's an opportunity to learn something new and dig in and try your best.
All
So
right.
that's what I would tell my younger self.
That's wonderful advice, Jane. Thank you so much.
Thank
If
you.
you are looking for great cooking classes the next time you come to Paris, check out La Cuisine Paris, and also check out the book, The French Ingredient, the memoir by Jane Bertch. That's just come out in paperback. Jane, thank you so much.
Thank you.